Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to talk about a double kettlebell exercise, the double kettlebell clean into the rack step back lunge. This exercise helps people get better at keeping their spine up and down under load when they're holding things in front of you. In the modern world, people tend to have not great hips because we sit down all the time. But humans are designed to carry things for long periods of time. If you went back 100 years ago, most people, the majority of people, lived outside of the city and they lived in some type of agrarian setting. Most of human history is actually agrarian settings where you had to pick up an amount of weight and you had to carry it until you got where you were going. This exercise helps us restore the way our hips should work. Spine vertical, weight loaded up top, and this helps us strengthen one leg at a time. It will expose weaknesses between your left leg and your right leg that will not get exposed in your squat training. For this exercise, we're using an ab mat so that we will be able to put our knee on the ground without driving it into the concrete. This is a cheap, easy way to do stepping patterns if you've had a bunch of knee injuries. I've had a bunch of knee injuries, so I don't like loading my knee on the ground that much without this. Once you know where your knee is gonna land, stand all the way up. Your feet should be 2 kettlebells widths apart. Kettlebells are about 8 inches, that's about 16 inches, plus an inch on each side is about 18 inches. In the beginning, for the starting movement, we are going to do a swing clean. We're gonna load down like it's a deadlift, point our thumbs back, get back on our heels. Push the weights back, rack up, catch like it's a kettlebell, not like it's a barbell. Kettlebell catch. Lead foot pointed generally straight ahead. Step back with one leg, put your knee on the ground. Drive your hip forward, make sure your spine is vertical. Drive out of that lead heel. If you have injuries like I do, this is important to get the takeoff right. Try to keep the spine vertical. Reload. Double clean, catch. Step back, touch down, drive the hip forward. We're putting our knee all the way down because we're interested in making sure we're driving straight up to step forward and that we are not rocking forward to drive up. Kettlebells will let you know if you are out of alignment, so they tend to help people learn to stand up a little bit better. That reload phase in the clean, think of it as a rest. Think of the clean as a rest. Think of putting your knee down as a rest. Double clean, catch, step back, drive the hip forward, drive up, stand. Double clean, catch, step back, knee on the ground, drive the hip forward, drive up, stand all the way up, push the weights back to set the weight down. You can control the rate of training. So you could do 1 rep every 6 seconds, 1 rep every 5 seconds. You can either control the speed, you can control the time, or you can control the reps, which allows you to get a lot of different outcomes that sit outside of other types of training protocols. Once you start adding together a bunch of different types of kettlebell moves, you start getting what's called monster lifts when you do it with double bells. Think double swing, double clean, double press, double front squat. Normally you can do that without moving, so people can do it in a small space, like inside of a house, inside of a shop, inside of a barn. You can do it in a field. If you have a little bit more space, we add something. We can add versions of the double kettlebell lunge. We always focus on the step back lunge first because it allows people to control the angle of their lead foot. If people are turning out, if they have knee pain, if they have back pain, we do not step forward with our lunge. We focus on stepping backward with our lunge so we can control the angle of the foot, so we can control the angle of the ankle, so we can control the knee, so we can control the hip, so we can control the spine. It's just a way to be able to get people to load more with less danger. Kettlebell training is a little bit different than barbell training. We can swing back through the line of our body, which allows us to do a full hip snap. With a barbell, you have to travel straight up and down. With kettlebells, we're catching with our hands close together and our wrists flat, as opposed to outside of our body frame with a barbell wrist. It is not better than barbell. Barbell is not better than kettlebell. They are different and complementary activities. Each one works on hip snap a slightly different way. With kettlebells, you can do this either as strength training and do 3 to 5 reps, and then do it again with the other leg lead, or you can turn this into endurance weightlifting, where you set a timer for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 4 minutes, 10 minutes, and repeat this exercise and learn to not put the weight down. Kettlebells do endurance weightlifting better than anything else. The goal of all training is to get better at the basics so you can stack more complex things on top of it, specifically sport or martial arts or things you want to do, mountain biking, climbing mountains. Kettlebells help you learn to endure better than anything else. They're cheap, they're effective, and you can do them anywhere.